The mid-1970s, a time known for shag carpet, wood paneling, and pet rocks, when a certain shark terrified us so much we didn't want to go back into the water. The Watergate scandal had just wrapped up with the new presidency, and the Vietnam War had just ended. Consumer technology was in its infancy, and for the first time in history, a generation of kids were playing video games, either at home or at the arcade. Then, a new market emerged, the portable electronic game market, and in 1977, one game blew them all out of the water. This is the story of the rise and fall of Mattel Electronics. By the mid-1970s, Mattel was already a giant in the toy industry. Barbie and Hot Wheels had made it a household name. But something was changing. Calculators were shrinking, digital watches were becoming affordable, and electronics were entering everyday life. Mattel saw an opportunity. It created Mattel Electronics, a division focused on combining toys with emerging technology. The goal was simple: make electronic games small enough to hold in your hand. The problem was the display. LCD screens weren't ready yet. The technology just wasn't there. So engineers turned to a simpler solution: LEDs. Instead of moving images, the games used fixed lights that switched on and off rapidly, creating the illusion of movement. And this simple idea became Auto Race in 1976. You controlled a small blinking car dodging traffic to survive as long as possible. The game had no animation, no sprites, or anything that you would relate to a video game today. The game itself wasn't a massive hit, but it did show proof of concept. Portable electronic gaming worked, and Mattel immediately began working on its next idea. Football was the obvious choice. The sport was just exploding in popularity in the mid-1970s, and Mattel believed it could translate well into a handheld format. Like Auto Race, it used fixed red LEDs. Players and defenders were just lights. Movement was an illusion created by switching LEDs on and off in sequence. You controlled the ball carrier, and the goal was simple: reach the end zone and score a touchdown. It was easy to learn, but hard to master. The game could be played in either one-player or two-player format. In one player, you would play against yourself, trying to outscore yourself. In two-player format, two players could play in the offensive position, trying to outscore each other. And electronic football? Well, it almost worked too well. During the 1977 holiday season, football became a runaway success. Stores sold out, demand outpaced supply, and it became a must-have toy. And more importantly, it changed the industry overnight. Now, Mattel didn't just make a hit game, it created a whole new market. And competitors, they were starting to take notice. After electronic football, Mattel expanded fast. Instead of relying on one product, it built a full lineup. Baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, bowling, you name it. And each game reused the same core idea: simple controls, LED-based movements, and fast gameplay built around head-to-head competition trying to beat your opponent. And the formula worked. Parents who bought one game often came back for another. Retailers pushed the growing lineup. But Mattel didn't stop just at sports. It experimented with arcade-style games like Subchase and Starhawk, and it released board game adaptations like computer chess and backgammon. It even tried novelty electronics and experimental titles. Mattel wasn't just selling games anymore, it was building an electronic toy ecosystem. But LED technology was pretty simple and had its limits. So Mattel pushed forward. First came the VFD displays, or vacuum fluorescent displays. These added color and more detailed visuals, bringing handheld games closer to arcade experiences. Games like Starhawk and Space Battle felt more dramatic and immersive. Sports titles like World Championship Football and Baseball added visual depth without losing portability. But VFDs weren't the only step forward. A real shift came with LCD technology. LCDs used far less power and allowed more detailed artwork while dramatically extending battery life. This opened the door for a new generation of games, such as Armor Attack, Speed Freak, Burgertime, Dungeons & Dragons, and Masters of the Universe. Handheld gaming was no longer just blinking lights. It was becoming miniature worlds. Not every Mattel Electronics product was a game in the traditional sense. Some were basically just experiments. Computer chess tried to simulate strategy gameplay. Brain Baffler tested logic and memory. Diet tracked calories. Horoscope Computer generated daily readings of your horoscope. Even the Bee Gees had a licensed product called the Bee Gees Rhythm Machine that turned music into gameplay. Some of these ideas succeeded and many of them didn't. But together they showed a company experimenting freely with what electronics could do. Mattel wasn't following the portable formula yet, it was still inventing it. Now, success rarely stays unchallenged. Coleco, Intex, Milton Bradley, and Parker Brothers all entered the handheld market. Each brought a new design, licenses, and technology improvements. And then came Nintendo. In 1980, Nintendo launched the Game & Watch. It used LCD technology, compact designs, and highly efficient gameplay. The idea was familiar. A portable electronic game, simple, addictive, and it was just everywhere. The market that Mattel had helped create was now crowded with competitors. And for the first time, Mattel was no longer at the top. While handhelds continued, Mattel Electronics shifted its focus to a new project, the Intellivision, a home console designed to compete with the Atari 2600. It quickly became the company's priority. Resources, marketing, and engineering talent shifted towards the living room. The handheld division slowed, and then came 1983, the video game crash. Sales collapsed across the industry as retailers cut orders and inventory piled up. Mattel Electronics lost hundreds of millions of dollars. By 1984, the division was shut down. One of the earliest pioneers of the handheld gaming market was now gone. Today, Mattel's handheld games look pretty simple. The red lights and sound and the plastic shells all powered by a 9-volt battery. But really, they did change everything. Auto Race proved that portable gaming was possible. Electronic football proved that it could be a hit and be successful. And everything that followed proved that it could evolve rapidly. Without Mattel Electronics, who knows? Would there have been a Game Boy, Tiger Electronic handhelds, or even modern-day handhelds? Now, if Mattel wouldn't have came along, I'm sure some other company would have took their place. However, Mattel holds a special place in all of us Gen Xers' hearts. If you guys played with these games, you know what I'm talking about. And if you did, go ahead and leave a comment down below and let me know about it. I'd like to hear about the memories that you guys have from these games. Also, if you guys are digging the content, don't forget to hit that like, that subscribe, that notification bell, and that hype button. And also, if you want to help support the channel, consider becoming a member or leaving a super down below. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have a great one. Peace out.
Game over, man. It's game over.